Hi, and welcome to another episode of Can't Stop the Growth. I'm your host, Chad Peterman, and today I have a very special guest, Alex Ladd, who is one of our top tech students who, as we record this here in a few hours, will be graduating from the Top Tech Academy and heading out into the field. We could not be more excited for this first class and couldn't be more excited to have Alex on today. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Excited to talk today about your experience as a member of the first class at the Top Tech Academy and really try to understand kind of what led you to the field and different stuff like that. So if you want, let's start off. Give us a little bit of your background and kind of what you did before joining the academy.
Yeah, so I grew up south side of Indianapolis in Franklin, Indiana. Was always playing sports growing up, so that was kind of a big part of my life. And once I figured out that that wasn't going to be a career path for me necessarily as an athlete, it was something that I still wanted to be involved in. So went down and attended Indiana University in Bloomington and pursued a career in sport marketing. Got involved with IU athletics, the Indianapolis Colts. And once I finished up down there, was able to join the Indiana Fever in ticket sales. So that was kind of the path that I was taking, being able to bring revenue to teams through tickets. Went on and worked for the Tennessee Smokies, minor league baseball team in Knoxville, and really thought that my life was going to be, revolving around sports. Figured out that that wasn't necessarily the case, not necessarily something I wanted to do forever as far as working for a team, and moved back to Indianapolis and joined Herf Jones, which is a company that works in providing caps and gowns, class rings, things like that to schools. I was actually part of the championship ring department. So I got to work with all the state championships, national championships, things like that, and was really enjoying, what I was doing. But as soon as the pandemic hit, that kind of put a halt to, all sports, all championships. There really wasn't a market anymore. And it was something that Herf Jones wasn't sure when that would be coming back. So I was actually laid off from that position, and found myself, without any options in terms of sports. There wasn't anyone hiring. It wasn't something that seemed like it was going to come back anytime soon. There was just so much uncertainty around it. So I was looking for a new opportunity, and this was kind of an opportunity to take my career in a different direction, and one that could provide more stability and growth opportunities moving forward. And that's kind of where I, found myself looking into the trades. Wasn't something that I necessarily thought that I'd be doing, but having done the research and seeing how much opportunity for growth there is in this industry, was something that I certainly was interested in, and began, looking for different trade schools and training opportunities, and stumbled upon Top Tech. And one of the things that stood out to me about Top Tech is the opportunity to be trained in an organization, but also be paid to do that training. So really, was blessed with that opportunity, and couldn't be happier about being part of Peterman.
Awesome. Good stuff. I want to dig a little bit deeper into, obviously, I remember interviewing you, what was that, probably September-ish. We started in October, so probably early to mid-September. Tell us a little bit about, you mentioned that you were involved in sports growing up. What do you try to take from your experience in athletics that has helped you in kind of the professional world?
I think it's just being part of a team. That was something that I wanted to have in my next opportunity, and joining Top Tech. You can make a team out of any group of people, and as long as everyone's pulling in the same direction, you can accomplish great things. And that was something that I'll always carry as far as sports on my life. being able to pull in the same direction and accomplish big goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, both myself and my brother played sports from the time we were 4 or 5 on up through, we're fortunate enough to be able to play in college as well. And I think that's extremely important for us here at Peterman, is to create that team atmosphere and then to win, and to win together. I think that I always say, when people ask me what my favorite part about this business is that it takes a team of sometimes 10 to 12 people to make one service call happen. When it seems like, oh, I just pick up the phone and someone comes out, the number of people that have to touch that is quite remarkable. And I guess that being something that may surprise people, obviously you get into something completely different than your background. What has surprised you about the trade, or what was one thing that you went in and never expected to learn or understand about kind of the trade itself?
Well, I think coming from an area where I felt so comfortable, working in sports and working in sales, I really felt comfortable in what I was doing. But this has a way of humbling you a little bit. The first time our instructor Alan opened up the furnace, you see all the parts in there, and it's like, what am I looking at? So I think being able to, step back and realize, okay, this is, an opportunity to learn, and really to learn from everybody. There's so many people in this organization that take pride in what they do. We got the chance to ride along with some of the technicians, and just being able to pick up little lessons that they have gained along the way. And the fact that they were willing to share those lessons really speaks a lot about Peterman as a company and the people that, they bring on, to be able to share that and learn those lessons from, everybody has been awesome.
Great. I think that's it. You make a great point, and one of the things that I didn't anticipate with well, there are a lot of things I didn't anticipate because we've never done this before. But one of the things that definitely surprised me and that I was glad to see, and we've talked a little bit about teamwork, and you mentioned it with the technicians out in the field. Tell me a little bit about kind of the camaraderie that has been kind of created within the school. I think that was something that when I went down to Top Tech, one of the things that I noticed, and I made the comment to somebody, I go, this feels almost like high school, like from the perspective of like, hey, we have a group and like we're all coming together because we're all learning and we're all growing, and like we want to help each other and things like that. Tell me a little bit about your feelings and kind of how that's been portrayed down at the academy.
Yeah, it's really been incredible to be able to work with all my fellow classmates and learn more about them and just see how much they've grown through this experience. And what's really cool about it is, we all came from different directions in this, right? Like we all saw this opportunity and thought it was something, the next step in a career. And to see so many different people from different backgrounds come in and just become one in a way, and everyone's, like I said, pulling on the same rope. It's really been awesome. We have so many great people that are able to teach each other or bring each other along in different things. Like it's been really cool. And I give a lot of credit to Alan in terms of being able to, I guess, mold each of us individually, but also build that class into a family. So.
Yeah, exactly. And, one of the other things that I've noticed is the kind of the energy that the academy has brought to the entire company. Obviously, with COVID throughout this past year, or I guess 2020, it's been tough. But I feel like you guys came in at the exact perfect time. October, when we went through the summer, we went through, I mean, how long is this thing going to last? And then, people kind of getting drained a little bit before we headed to the holidays, and you guys came and have provided that energy. Tell me a little bit about your first experience out in the field with one of the technicians. Tell me a little bit about that, how it went, what you experienced, and maybe what surprised you as you got out there in front of the customer.
Yeah, so I rode along with Lucas on my interview ride along, and got the chance to just see how much he is involved with the customer experience. That guy can talk to anybody, and is always looking for ways that he can make their lives better. Honestly, that carried on to everyone that I interacted with. It wasn't something where they were just looking for the problem with the system. They were trying to find ways where they could improve that person's quality of life in their home. It's just been an awesome experience.
Great. I think, we can all learn something from Lucas. He does a tremendous job of connecting with the customer out there, and then sharing that knowledge as we go along. And so, you pointed, you mentioned, opening up that furnace for the first time, seeing everything, being a little bit intimidated. What are some things that you can see yourself doing, now that school's over, you're going to be heading out in the field. What do you see yourself doing as far as continually trying to improve as a technician out there in the field, now that, the learning part, you'll always be learning, but the instructional part, I guess, is probably a better word for it, is over. What do you see yourself doing, or what are you and your classmates doing to continue to get better out there in the field?
Yeah, honestly, there's so many resources, not only with Peterman, but just out in the world to be able to continue the learning. I've been watching plenty of YouTube videos and things like that just to refresh on a lot of things. But really just following the process. I think Peterman's laid out a great, format with Nexstar in terms of being able to make those connections with the customers. And I think the more that you do that, the more the overall process just becomes, a simple thing. I mean, it's really not that hard in terms of if you just follow the way that it's laid out. So really it's just, fine tuning things, making your own, mark on it, as far as, your connections with customers and, like you said, just continuing to grow. It's not my goal to be a maintenance tech forever. I want to be able to grow into service, and, if any other opportunities come my way, I'll be ready for them. But, just trying to get better every day.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned a couple of things that maybe were unanticipated, when starting this. I think the one other thing that you just touched on was just that drive and desire to continue to move up in the company, which I think is going to be infectious in the company. We're right now working on a lot of things that will allow people to get them the proper resources they need to continue to grow. Where does that for you, where does that drive and desire, do you think, come from?
I think it would probably come from just, I got married this past October. So having someone that, is counting on me and that I want to provide for and, give the best life to is something that, drives me every day. I think, you see that with a lot of my classmates as far as, they have, children and spouses that they're trying to create a better life for. And, they see that they can do that through, this opportunity, and just being able to continue to grow within this company.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think that we all trying to find that why. Why is it that we get up in the morning? Why is it that we work so hard? Why is it that we want to continue to grow? And when you can find that and connect that to all aspects of your life, not just your work, but your personal life, your faith, your everything, then everything you do, regardless of what you're doing, is geared towards that mission. So I think that's extremely insightful for sure.
Yeah, and it was something that I think was instilled with our class from day one. On our name tags, we wrote the initials of someone that was important to us, and was a reason that we were pursuing this opportunity. And then on the inside of it, we wrote why we were here. So I think it's something that has always been front of mind for all of us.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. What's a resource that you could share with the listeners that's helping you right now continue to grow, whether that be a book or podcast, or you mentioned YouTube? What would you recommend as something that is that's helping you right now?
Yeah, so during the pandemic, it was kind of hard to stay positive, especially through the job search that was pretty difficult. I mean, it was a time where in my life where I honestly had no idea what I was going to do. And I read a book called The Energy Bus by John Gordon. And it's 10 rules to fuel your life with positive energy. And it really, I mean, when I was reading this and when I began, interviewing with Peterman, a lot of those rules and lessons aligned with what Peterman was doing. Things about talking about desire and vision and positive energy and enthusiasm and loving your passengers is what they say. But a lot of those things aligned with what I want to accomplish in life. And I think bringing a positive attitude every day, it's one of the things that I call a controllable. It's something that you're 100% is on you. You have the ability to make or break your day with the attitude that you bring. And that's one book that I read during the pandemic that really, I guess, allowed me to view things in a different way and kind of simplify it a little bit. So that's definitely a suggestion I would have for folks.
Fantastic. I have a lot of books. I do not have that one, so that will be one that I'll be getting. But you make a great point, and you touched on it earlier that this, pardon me, this is really a very simple game. The learning, understanding how a furnace operates, understanding how a plumbing system operates, whatever that may be. That's teachable. My brother has a sign in his office that he just hung that says 10 things that don't require talent. And one of those things on there is attitude. And to me, success in this business, along with any business, revolves around a positive attitude. If you can show up with a smile on your face, ready to help somebody and to do a great job, you're going to be successful. It's people who get in their usually failure or lack of success is usually we can look internally and understand where those shortcomings are initiated. What do you think? What do you think from your past? You mentioned being laid off during the pandemic, always tough to go through. What do you think? What do you think maybe in your life, either a past maybe failure or just a rough spot, do you think has kind of propelled you? And maybe what did you learn from that experience that you take forward today to help you continue to grow and continue to get better?
Yeah, I think it's kind of cliche, but when one door closes, another one opens. I didn't know that this is where I was going to be, but having an open mind to opportunities and being able to see when those doors are opening for you, I think is probably the biggest thing that was able to get me to where I am today. I've certainly have had some people that have opened my eyes to those opportunities and maybe pushed me through those doors that I was hesitant to go through. My wife, was extremely supportive during the whole pandemic and job search process. And when I told her about this opportunity, she was even more excited than I was. I was kind of on my heels a little bit, not sure, like, is this the right thing to do? But she was like, this is something that you're going to be able to do for the rest of your life. You're going to be able to take these lessons and what you learn here and have this forever. So it's definitely something that just being open to those opportunities and willing to walk through those doors is probably the biggest thing.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Is your wife coming tonight?
She is, yes.
Awesome. I can't wait to meet her. I'm going to shake her hand. Thanks for
Mhm.
convincing Alex to take this step. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Jared, get the camera out. Let's get a testimonial from a spouse about why it's so important to do this. So no, that will be that's awesome. Tonight we'll have with the restrictions, we'll have I believe it's one family member per student, but definitely excited to meet some of the families. And then we'll get to do the awkward COVID. Do you want to shake hands? Do you not? Do you want to fist bump? Do you want to just kind of stand here and look at each other? So that should be really fun. I may just start off the night by saying, just getting that out of the way, so no one is awkward. So, but that aside, what's one thing that you would share with someone that is that's contemplating maybe making this jump? Looking at a lot of the, you mentioned a lot of people come from a lot of different backgrounds. You explained yours, and I think that we'd be remiss to not acknowledge the fact that this is quite a drastic change from what you were doing. What advice would you give to somebody who's kind of that hurdle of like, that's something completely different than what I'm doing. Should I do it? What kind of advice would you give that person?
Well, I think I would say, Peterman provides so much support through this. It's really been quite remarkable for me. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, once I decided to make the jump and was all into it and willing to learn, I think that's one of the biggest things is come in ready to go. We've learned so much throughout this process. At times it felt like I was, drinking through a fire hose a little bit with everything that we were having to learn through the class. But again, I'll harken back to something I mentioned earlier, but being willing to learn from everyone that you come in contact with here, whether it's folks in dispatch or technicians in the field or your instructors, or even whenever you came to speak to us. There's things you can learn from everyone here. As long as you're willing to take in those lessons and really just go for it. Honestly, like I said, I didn't think I would be here, but now that I am, and now that I'm in this opportunity, it's something that, I can see doing for the rest of my career.
Yeah. So our instructors may kill me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I come from a background of many people will call me and, hey, I got this issue with my furnace or my plumbing, and I have to always preface the conversation by, I don't really know much about that stuff. And the knowledge that our people have as it relates to the trades is incredible. It is second to none. There isn't a problem we can't solve. But the advice, and you mentioned it, that I would give to people contemplating a career in the trades is, do not let the mechanical side of things intimidate you. This is, given what we do when we go into homeowners, houses, this is a people business, and it is about taking care of people, not so much their furnace or their water heater or whatever it may be. Can you speak to a little bit of kind of the training that you've received as it relates to the kind of the people side of things and taking care of more so the customer, not the piece of equipment?
Yeah, of course. Honestly, I would say that we spent almost as much time on that process as we did on learning the mechanics of a furnace. Honestly, with the next start process, we were doing that every day. Being able to learn how to ask the right questions or make connections with customers. And like you said, it's really a customer and people business. That's one of the things that I think is also an area of growth for myself. Something that once I feel comfortable with the furnace aspect, I can better connect with the customers and better educate the customers. And that's kind of the biggest thing that we're there to do, is to educate them on their system, educate them on the options, just overall educating them on what we feel is the best, solution for whatever their problem may be. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that that is the one thing that if you're a people person, if you enjoy helping people, enjoy taking care of others, this is a business that you get to do that every single day. You get to meet new people, you get to take care of people, you get to solve their problems. And if you are at all hesitant or intimidated or whatever it is by, I don't know this skill, really the people that we are looking for are the people that exhibit our 5 core values, and those people that want to serve others. When we serve others, we will ultimately see success. What as we kind of wrap up here, what would you share with the listeners as far as just kind of an overall kind of synopsis of your experience and kind of what you're looking forward to most as you head out Monday to tackle your first day out there by yourself?
Yeah. Honestly, it's been an awesome experience with all my classmates, and I know that we're all anxiously awaiting, Monday morning when we get to go out on our first calls. I think for me, the biggest takeaway is how much you can grow when you put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Like I said, this is something brand new for me, but seeking that discomfort and understanding that through that you can learn and grow and become a better person and push yourself. And I think all of my classmates have shown that, and all of my classmates are going to be fantastic technicians. And I can't wait to see what they're able to do. And I'm excited to be, out there with them. So.
Alex, my man, you're pulling on my heartstrings there, saying enjoy discomfort. That's definitely a philosophy to live by. When we get uncomfortable is when we grow. When we're comfortable, we're standing still. So, Alex, I can't thank you enough for being on today and sharing a little bit about your experience at the Top Tech Academy. I'm excited for you. I think you're going to do great. We've got a ton of great technicians, and we're going to help a ton of people having guys like yourself and gals that are well-trained with a focus on taking care of the customer. So thanks again for being on. Appreciate the insight, and look forward to seeing you out there.